Welcome to Empowering a Woman of Any Shades. Are you a woman of diverse experiences, ready to turn your personal journey into a thriving business? You are in the right place. Join us on this podcast journey where we celebrate the power of your story, regardless of your background or shade. Our episodes are a testament to the fact that every woman holds the potential to spark innovation and inspire success. Ladies, your story matters, and so does your business. Empowering Women's Stories is here to amplify your voice, regardless of your shade. It is a podcast that celebrates the new journey of your entrepreneurship, providing that your personal story is your greatest asset. Contact the podcast manager today and listen. Speak up, girl. Good morning, empowering women of any shades. And today we have an amazing interview. I respect this lady because I was just telling her it's amazing. I told her that probably is going to come up in the recording, and it is. I admire this woman because what she said she do and what she do she said. And for me, I give a lot of respect to that. And with no further waiting, I want her to present herself and let's start chatting. Hi, Ivy. Good morning. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I actually have my headband on because I went for a walk. It's 32 degrees. So I'm in New Jersey. It's a little nippy. So I got back in and I was like in that headspace of, okay, let me just make my coffee. And then I look at the time and went,
Well, can you tell the girls that they're watching with a cup of coffee in their hand, waiting for this interview, who you are, what do you do, and little things like that. We want to know more about you. And of course, I'm going to have questions because we're here to empower that woman that is looking through that TV or phone or anything. And if we reach one person at a time, that's the goal. If one person can listen and put in practice what they hear, or the testimonies of others help them to propel, that's what we're here for. So take the floor, Ivy.
Okay. Well, everyone, my name is Ivy Perez. Like I said, I live in New Jersey. I'm a mom. I have a 10-year-old daughter. I just turned 54. I might be showing my age today because I have like no makeup on, but oh boy, you know, what's important about this, about being on, your show and on podcasts is that it gives us the opportunity to share. Initially, when I started doing this a handful of years ago, it's kind of like, I don't know what I'm going to say. I'm just going to talk. But over time, you hear yourself, and it's a way to also tap into yourself. Yes. That was interesting that I said that, or that was interesting that came up, kind of thing. And in the process of doing this, and then also getting feedback from people, the whole point of this, like you say, to empower women of any shade, black, white, purple, green, it doesn't matter. We're all the same. We all want happiness. We all want, if we have family, we just want that cohesiveness. We want to feel peace in our heart moving forward on a daily basis. And then nowadays we live in a world that there's so much chatter, so much negativity, so much division. There's that. If you focus on it, you're going to see a lot of it. It's going to come to you. But if you focus on, there's good. There's people doing good. There's people rising above. There's people helping each other. When you focus on that, you see more of that. More of those people start to cross your path. So I've always been that way ever since I was a child. So for me personally, there's so much to unpack for who Ivy Perez is. But as a child growing up, we moved every few years, and it wasn't because of the military, but that became my MO. Stop and go, stop and go, stop and go, with jobs, with relationships, with moving. It was something that there was a part of me as I got older felt like it was I wore it as a badge, like I could do whatever I want, go wherever I want. You know, if I don't want to be in this relationship, fine, I'm out. See ya, bye. There's the saying, you know, it's terrible. I heard this when I was younger. Guys, well, I heard it with girls. Girls are like buses. You know, you miss one, there's the next one coming down the road. I'm like, oh, that's awful.
Yes.
It's awful. But when you think about the amount of people in this world, to hold on to pain, to hold on to hurt, if someone hurt you or betrayed you, whether it's family or whatever, it doesn't serve you. There's too many people, there's too much in this world to hold on to one person, to one thing, and just, you know, for us to move on. I've always believed that. I've always lived into that. Although even with that being said, you know, there's stuff that's happened in my childhood. So I kind of was doing that in a way of, I had my shield up. I had the armor up. I had the mask on. And it really isn't. It really is not until the last handful of years that I started to really tap into me, who I am, not Ivy with the, you know, the mask on, just who am I? And it was actually 5.5 years ago, to be December 1st. It'll be 5.5 years where I quit drinking. That was always a thorn in my side. Of course, when we're in our 20s, we're having fun or whatever. But if you're the type where that leads into overindulgence, leads into abuse, leads into errors in judgment, leads into putting yourself in situations that are, you know, not healthy, we got a problem. And it takes time.
You 1 second, because you say something in there that's the message for today. We just tap in the right message. Somebody out there has been drinking and shoving down all the issues of life and everything. In my case, I was moving everywhere. I went to 14 or 15 schools, and it's only 12 grades. And I grew up with that insecurity, where I'm going next, because I never was told. So that inflicted a lot of problems with me. Thanks God I did not have a substance that calm me down or numb me, because I think that's what it do. It numbed us.
It does numb you, yes.
And I know that it is somebody out there that is about to take a drink today. And if you did it 5 years ago, anybody that is addicted to anything that numb you and just hide behind that, whatever you are addicted to, those hurts, it's time to move forward. It's time to step in. And I am preaching to the choir. I have a lot of hurts. I am working on them. In my journey, I'm learning to be persistent and try not to procrastinate. But out there today, Ivy, you mentioned something that really touched my heart, because I always looking to see where the message will be for the day. And you just tap into it. So let's go back a little bit, like 2 seconds ago when you said, I stopped drinking 5 years ago. Can you tell me how Ivy decided, that's it, I'm moving forward in another direction? Can you talk about a little bit about that?
Absolutely. It's my story. You know what I mean? It was almost 30 years of me drinking. And it was not until my 30s, like I said, I'm 54. It wasn't until my 30s when I started to realize, I think I have a problem. And one day I was in real estate. I walked into my office, and I remember saying, it was early in the morning. And it's one of those things, there was one of the guys that I worked with, he's sitting catty corner to me, and I just said it really low, like, I think I have a problem. He spun around so fast. He goes, Ivy, that's great. That's the first thing. It's admitting that you have a problem. I'm like, whoa, 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 that kind of thing. But I voiced it, not realizing that I voiced it loud enough, within someone's earshot. But it was at that time, and that was my late 30s. I was already well into my drinking, where I started to have the awareness that I think I have a problem. That was 38. I just stopped drinking 5.5 years ago. Wow. So it was one of those things where I knew I needed to stop. I wanted to stop. I didn't know how to stop. I tried all the tactics. I tried controlling. I tried the rubber band. I tried, the affirmations. I talked to myself. It was a constant dialogue in my head, going to a party or a networking event or whatever, where I would tell myself, okay, Ivy, you're going to a party, okay, there's going to be alcohol. Okay, just don't wait an hour before you, whatever. Or if I have a drink and I'm watching someone have a drink, they take a sip, put it down, have a conversation, I am staring at that drink, thinking to myself, they haven't picked it up in the last 5 minutes. How do you do that? But I'm still, talking, laughing, smiling, but I'm still looking at that drink that someone has that, meanwhile, I'm like 3 drinks in kind of thing. So that was kind of like the thing. I was the happy kind of person, thankfully. Alcohol for me wasn't something that I used it when I was angry. It was, I enjoyed the feeling.
Yes.
It made me happy. It made me forget. It numbed me. Sometimes I wanted that numbing factor, and then other times I just did it just to do it because that's what I was doing, kind of thing. But it was, let's see. So of course I said, I'm done a million times. I'm not doing this anymore. I can't do this anymore. I believe
that tool is what I want.
Yes.
Only one tool today, because that drinker that is behind this lens today need only one step at a time. And I'm sure that you took one step at a time. Otherwise, you could not be here. I mean, and having yes. titles and all this, acknowledgement. So what is that tool that you're taking out of your toolbox for somebody else today?
It's a great question. It's a very difficult question, because I've had this question asked of me from people who maybe just started their sobriety, just asked me, how did you do it? How do you stay strong? It was years in the making, the years of praying, the years of like, why am I doing this? I don't want to do this. And I learned that everything happens twice, first in thought and then in physical form. I learned that yes. during my coaching training. So I give 100% of the day because of the coaching program I went through. Now, I went into it just to become a coach, but it's transformational coaching. So what it was doing for me was peeling the layers. It was things about understanding who you are as a spiritual being, understanding who you are in this life, that we are energy beings, and all these things. I grew up Catholic. I went to school, I went to Catholic school, but my home life was anything but. So there was a lot of contradiction my whole entire life. I go to school, I learn one thing, this is right, this is wrong. Then I go home, and in my, family life, it's like, that's not right. That's not cool, but as a child, you don't verbalize it, you internalize everything. So it was a lot of years. It was my coaching program. It was the peeling of the layers. And it was 2 months after I finished getting certified, where it was yet another incident where I overindulged too much. And I woke up in the morning and I was like, I'm done. But there's a couple of things too. When my daughter was born, I remember saying to God, and I was like, oh God, okay, this is it. She's going to be the reason why I don't drink anymore. I was like, just give me 6 years. And it wasn't even about the drinking per se. It was just give me 6 years so I could, figure out my life. When I stopped drinking, about a month later, I realized my daughter was 6 years old. I was like, oh my God. So I was like, be careful what you ask for. You will get it. Not in the exact way you want it, but you will get it. So it's a lot of different factors, but I remember waking up that morning and I was yet again so embarrassed. I didn't do anything wrong. I was with friends. I just drank so much that I couldn't drive home. I had to sleep over. That happened millions of times. But I felt humiliated, that I was like, Ivy, you're 50 freaking years old. When are you going to stop? Come on. And I was sitting there in silence. Everyone was still sleeping. I'm shaking my head. My girlfriend comes in. She's like, what's wrong? And I was like, I'm so sorry. She's like, oh, don't worry about it. It happens. And in my head, I'm thinking to myself, you don't even know how many times that this has happened to you. This is the first time. To me, this is like the thousandth time. And I said to myself, not to her, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. And I felt it in my body as if every cell in my body was like, we've been waiting for you. We've been waiting for you. And from that moment on, Natalie, I kid you not, I don't get triggered by it. I don't think about it. I don't crave it. Nothing. It's like God took the taste away from me because I wanted it so bad for years. I wanted it so bad. The coaching program, and I, there's a part of me that wants to take this program to those that struggle, but I don't want to be the alcohol coach.
Yes,
because that was my thing. Will someone go through it that's struggling with it stop? It's possible.
Well,
that's not a guarantee.
I understand that, but your coaching, maybe, I don't know if it happens to you like it happens to me. Sometimes I'm coaching or telling something to somebody and I'm talking reversing back to me. Now, I don't think that your coaching it has to do only with drinking, because I don't have addiction of smoking or drinking or anything, but I have an addiction of feeling rejected, abandoned, not worthy. And that's an addiction. That's an addiction that I have to work on it every single day. Now, my thoughts see me always in victory, and I pray from victory. But because I live in this body, and we have the part of the egocentric and the legalism, my ego, if I don't wake up in a second, or I don't let that dwell for more than 2 or 3 minutes. I'm going to tell you an example. About 5 minutes before we went to the air, I was feeling already rejected because I see others being trusted. I see others getting titles, and I always think that me offering my services is going to get me there, when it's the completely opposite. Continue doing what you're doing, Natalie or Coach Kira, and eventually somebody will appreciate what you're doing, and it will give you the chance to have that responsibility or that title or whatever. I don't want to be labeled. However, my egocentric and anybody's egocentric and legalism like the label, like the announcement, like the rush, that you've been chosen or for something, And I almost didn't do this recording. My stomach started hurting me. I was feeling down, and I said to myself, no, enough. I have something good happening in here. Let me concentrate what is the good thing about all this, because it's amazing, Ivy, that this podcast, I always said that it's something out there sitting with a cup of coffee, right? I am always thinking, that person out there, and most of the time, this podcast has been talking to me personally, because we all are one. We all have struggles. We all have problems. We all have addictions. It can be an addiction of, I don't know, I cannot go out of the door without being all makeup, That's an addiction because you cannot be yourself. You only have to carry that mask. But the addictions are in different ways. And go back to what you're saying. Yeah, you're not a coach for alcohol. I don't know how to say that.
Alcoholism.
But you are a coach that actually have exercise the change, how it came out to a thought that was enough and it was manifested. Actually, you embody in your real life that thought of being enough. You know, I have a question for you. What do you have in your bucket list that is you're working on it, but it's not already manifested, that you're working on it? And can you tell me, how do you go by having that bucket, that list, that thing that you have in your bucket list, check mark and said, I did it? So, I mean, if you can share that would be awesome. And how do you working towards it? Because I have something in my bucket list, but it's been sitting in there forever. And every time I exercise or I move forward to do it, something comes in. Even if I said it too early, or I don't know, just share a little bit. I want to hear from you.
It's a great question. Honestly, one of the things for me is building a business of impact. I'm not there yet. Because I'm still in the process of finding me. So for me, it's really important. Like earlier you said, you do what you say what you do. It's very hard for people to look at the screen of someone doing something, because there's a lot of inauthenticness out there. I'll give a quick silly example. I had seen a video once of a guy videotaping two girls on a beach, and they were picking up garbage, like recycling, and videotaping. And he's like, oh, that's really nice, whatever. Soon as they were done with their video, they dropped the garbage in the bags and then they walked off. So it was just for the likes and the whatever. And they just dropped it. There's a lot of that going on. Just for the 2 minutes or 5 minutes or 30 seconds, let's just show that I'm doing good and, I'm this. And then they go back and they're not. So it's very difficult for people to see what's real, what's not, who's real, who's not. And for me personally, I can't show up if, I can't say I'm doing something if I'm not doing it. So I can't say I'm in the process of training for something and I'm not really doing the right things on the back end, the food, the sleep, the stretching, all of that. So that's how I show up. And a lot of the things that I do is things like this, coming on podcasts, it's sharing my story. I think it's really important. The more I share it, the more feedback I get, it just validates me that I need to continue doing this. And my thing is to validate others, because first I have to say, Natalie, I have to give you kudos, seriously, because, and I say this to all the women that I meet who are 60s, 70s, 80s, who are working in this space, who are still working on themselves, who have crap that they're still working through and on, and they still show up. So seriously, I'm like, you're doing such a great thing, even though you still have those days where I'm not feeling it. I got this in my stomach. I don't feel like I'm worthy. I have those thoughts too. I struggle with it every single day.
Hard. Yeah, it is very hard because I wake up only 10 years or 15 years ago. Meaning a wake up was that I realized that what I was doing, it was a pattern coming from childhood. And I was a pleaser.
always pleasing. And I find myself pleasing people now too. But I withdraw before, but still, and I'm going to be 67 in March of this coming year. And I don't have no shame. I'm not going to be embarrassed of saying that this journey is being a mess. But I'm learning.
We get to a point where we can't hide. We get to a point, it's like, you know what? I'm just going to be me, say what I want to say. Because of course, when our teens, in our 20s, even sometimes in our 30s, like, it's like, you know what? How much time do we have? We don't know. I plan on living to 100, but we don't know.
We don't know. And then anyway, if it's like you said about that example of that video, that these people were picking up garbage and then just left the garbage behind. So their mask, but I'm done with that. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But if I'm right, I'm right. And I'm going to fight for it now. I'm not going to hide between a little wall or something. Oh, I'm right, but can you see if I'm right? No, I'm not going to do that anymore. And that's what wakes me up, because I used to be depressed for months, sleeping all the time. That was about 10, 12 years ago. I slept all the time. Why? Because I was avoiding life. I mean, I
did the same thing.
Going to continue like that, I'm just going to sleep. And then when I wake up, I do something else,
Everything will be better, yes.
Yes, rejection from everywhere. But guess what? Today, maybe the 5 or 6 people that are going to listen to this podcast, guess what? We all have crap in our life. I'm still working with this garbage that I have to make decision. I call it transmuted, because even the past we need to transmute, because every time we step to the past, that we bring that energy back to the present. And what happened is it depresses us, and then we said, but why am I feeling like this right now? If that happened 30 years ago, and it's because we brought back the same energy that we had back then. No, I'm telling you, Ivy, I've been learning a lot, and it's like I said, we're never gonna arrive. We're never going to arrive. This is a journey of learning. And, I want you to take back something that you just said, because you just said that maybe you're not completely ready, but we're never going to be ready. And we need to start teaching what works and what we call our philosophy, because what it works for me maybe will not work for you, but it will work for somebody else. So throw it out there, Ivy, because I need to throw it out there too, because I have to give myself, I build myself alone. Completely alone. I mean, without the grace of God, I would not be here. I would not be here today. And
well, you said something. You said something really important that I think, for anyone watching, one of the things at 66, soon to be 67, is you're still working on you. But it's the awareness. It's the awareness of knowing that you've got stuff you need to work on. And here's the thing, you're working on it. That is the secret sauce that a lot of people don't do. They know it. They don't want to know, because it's not easy. It's not easy to bring up, someone that hurt us or abused us or anything like that. We don't want to talk about it. It's going to open Pandora's box. It's not for anyone. It really is for us. It's like forgiveness. Like, we have to forgive the person, the people, for what they did. It doesn't let them off the hook. You're not verbally telling them, I forgive you. You're just forgiving and letting go of the grip that energy has on you, so that you finally breathe and move forward in your life, because they're still doing their life. They don't even remember. And if you were to bring something up to them, well, remember when you did that? I would never do that, because they don't remember. It happened. You still feel it. But if you still rehash it all the time, like you said, you bring it forward, it's like, why am I not moving forward? Why am I depressed? Why? Because there's something there. There's something there that subconsciously we're bringing it up, something in our environment. But it's the awareness. When you have the awareness that you want to work on you have the awareness that you're doing something, intaking something, being someone that is just not serving you, and it's not serving the people around you. When you can be aware of that and catch yourself, that's when you start to move forward.
I have to share something with you. We don't have that much more time, but I need to mention something. The least person in the group of people that I know in my life that I call, or they're being assigned to be my family, the least person that I thought that I never will have an impact in that life, it's the one that is my number one fan of my podcast. It's the one that has been encouraging me to write a book. It's the one that the least that I ever imagined that he will be listening to my podcast and said, oh my gosh, that was great. I love this. I love that. And
that's awesome.
One person, I'm done, not just for one person, but if I reach a person that I least thought that I will have, an impact, or maybe by curiosity, it doesn't matter how it happened, it happens. I know that I can touch other life, because my life has not been very easy. And in the group that we have and ladies of leadership, I noticed everybody do different things and everything. Everybody's good about different things that they do. I'm learning. So I step back and I watch the video. I watch what's going on, and I can hear, I can sense the energy, I can feel, and it's telling me, I know I'm not the older one in the group. Maybe it's another one that is as old as me, as young as me. But as long as it's like you said, that's the tool for today. As long that we continue doing what is changing our journey, not completely our life, but we can reset the last part of our life to have a better awareness daily of our words, our actions, what we eat. And I'm guilty on that one. But I think it's a step forward. And yes, I am very proud of myself, because everything that I know is confirmed by things that you say, Ivy. I've been listening to you from the very beginning, because I said, oh my gosh, I don't know why I connect with this soul. And it's just that I know why. It's because you mean what you said, and you said what you mean. And when you make a decision, you move forward. And procrastination is something that a lot of people suffer from. I am number one on that one. And the procrastination sometimes come from insecurities and fear, and working on those fears and procrastination. Like, look at me. I am in my bedroom doing a podcast and talking about my personal life, because
someone's listening.
Somebody out there need to hear this and said, crap, I'm not the only one on this. So we have about 5 more minutes. I just want Ivy to give an encouraging word to somebody out there Give me an encouraging word. I want to hear it. And just go ahead.
Okay. This is something that I shared the week before Thanksgiving. We come across people in our lives. Sometimes we can't get rid of people, or our environment is not conducive to us moving forward. Be aware of that. Catch yourself when something happens, something's being said. How are you reacting? Do you reach for food right away because you get mad and you want to show that person, I'll show you? Do you reach for that, the alcohol? Pour yourself another drink and another because you're pissed off at that person, or, the situation isn't right. Just catch yourself. And just go, I did it again. When so-and-so does this, I do that. That is the first step in realizing you're going to start to move forward, and you'd be amazed. That is the beginning. And it could take a decade, but that is the beginning to your transformation. You just have to stick with it. But when you become aware of your actions, because that's all you can control,
That's
you.
right. That's right.
You can't control what other people do or say. And journal, write it, pen to paper. Just put your thoughts down on paper. And if it's all the muck, that's okay. Here's the thing that I've recently learned. You take that. Now on the other side, put down what you do want.
Yes.
So if you're in a relationship that's toxic and you write down, I'm so angry, on this side, say, I would love a relationship that is loving, that makes me feel good, that makes me feel safe. Do the opposite. And then you know what? Read that, not that.
I
feel that.
Yes. And just to resume what you just said, number one, girls, awareness. Be aware of your actions or even your thoughts, because your thoughts, if you dwell on them, they become actions and they become reactions. So, and number two, do that. Put whatever you did wrong and how you can just transmute it, change it, and how you would like to do it better. That's what I do every single day of my life. Thank you, Ivy. I love you so much. And oh my goodness. We're going to have to catch up again. It's more to this. Yes. I just want to let you know, girls, this podcast is to empower you. I'm committed by my own life, my existence, that as long as I'm here, I would like to empower you. How I am empowering you? Bringing women that are in the same journey. We are all one. So be yourself, and it's time to get up from that couch, get up from that bed, and just make the first step. Only one step today is what I ask you to do. Like I did when I made a decision and an intention that my life will change forever. Thank you, Ivy. I love you. And empowering women of any shades will be next for you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Are you a woman of diverse experiences, ready to turn your personal journey into a thriving business? You are in the right place. Join us on this podcast journey, where we celebrate the power of your story, regardless of your background or shade. Our episodes are a testament to the fact that every woman holds the potential to spark innovation and inspire success. Ladies, your story matters, and so does your business. Empowering Women's Stories is here to amplify your voice, regardless of your shade. It is the podcast that celebrates the new journey of your entrepreneurship, providing that your personal story is your greatest asset. Contact the podcast manager today